I'm gonna play you a clip, and I want you to tell me if my accent sounds more American or British in it. Have you had these ones? Have you had these ones? Pretty easy, right? Well, not quite. There's a reason why this particular clip might split my audience's opinion a bit. I got this comment the other day. Why do you put on a fake British accent? We've heard your real accent, and it's not the one in the videos. What is my real accent? And what is it about this particular clip that makes some people think I'm putting on an accent? My name is Evan Edinger, and I've lived nearly 14 years in the UK after over 20 in the USA, and my accent often flips back and forth between the continents depending on certain words and situations, as I'll show you soon. But there's one thing hidden in that earlier sentence, something that quietly splits how Americans and Brits say it without either side even noticing, that I think you'll find quite astounding. Well, you'll definitely know it by the end of this video. To explain things a bit, how do you pronounce this word? For me, this word acts like a trigger word to sometimes flip my accent. So let me just show you a clip from last month and see if you can hear what I mean. Fruits are not profitable. It's less profit for the donut shop. All right, so fruits go bad. Donuts don't, right? How many of you go to a donut shop and you're okay with donuts from 2 days prior? How many of you go into a donut shop? I do not know why I have been doing this type of thing. You notice the word donut came out like that, and then donut, and then donut. It was like basically flip-flopping between, and then all of a sudden I put on some sort of accent. The word donut sometimes can trigger my brain to just flip accents as if it goes, oh, I know that word. I know that it's supposed to be pronounced this way, and that's how your brain is now. Good luck, buddy. I've stayed in Ohio. I've been in Ohio a couple times. It's not really a great place. The weirdest thing about seeing this clip back is just how fast I flip in and out of this weird accent. Like, you have to be focusing really hard to be like, wait, what was going on there? And then, nope, it's gone. You didn't hear that. It only happens in every video a couple of times, you know? You never know when it's gonna happen. It's weird. The weirdest thing is when a US word trigger, you know, a word that's triggering this weird New Jersey accent of mine, gets mashed into a situation that usually triggers my UK-ish accent. If you think about this word and maybe try pronouncing it out loud, there's a very good chance you didn't even have to think about how it was said. Obviously, it's 3 letters. It's not a very complex word. You learn it at a very early age, but the vowel in the middle is probably one that feels incredibly natural within your accent. If you've seen my big deep dive into the weird features of the South Jersey accent, you know how I pronounce this word, but not just how much it sticks out when I'm faced with a situation that usually triggers my accent to go the complete opposite direction.
Can I please have the all beef pretzel dog? Do you recommend the cheese?
Good Lord, so we had a full-on Jersey dog there, but then a split second later, would you recommend the cheese?
Do you recommend the cheese?
Please, sir, may I have some more? But actually, on that cheese question, you might be able to pick up a subtle similarity between the way I say that and the intro question. You might also hear it in this sentence I gave to another bus driver in that same video.
Excuse me, is this going towards Mantua?
Yeah, it might be difficult to separate the strange British-sounding accent from the way I'm saying it, but I'm just trying to see if you could pick this up before I explain it later.
Excuse me, is this going towards Mantua?
You going to Mantua? No one's ever said it like that. And no one says it. It's a New Jersey place. You say, you going to Mantua? Yeah, you going to Mantua? But this sort of thing might be why newcomers to my channel might be thinking I'm putting on some sort of fake accent. Because my accent's going all over the place. It's hard to tell, oh, is that his real accent? Wait, what's going on? Is he doing a bit? Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. It's really difficult to tell, myself included. But it's also because the sheer difference between the accents causes a sense of whiplash, especially when done in quick succession. You see, even though dog is a very strong Jersey trigger word in my accent, it sounds so bizarre, it came up against my #1 British accent trigger situation, dealing with customer service. If you're unaware of the concept of code switching, it's usually when you have bilingual people in a conversation who switch language mid-sentence, either voluntarily or involuntarily. I just came back from Manila in the Philippines where I heard this a lot. 2 people would be interacting and there'd be a lot of English involved, so I could understand it. And then suddenly Tagalog would be thrown in, and then they'd go back to English. You see, certain feelings can be emphasized by switching language for specific words, either to signal attachment to that language or accent, or simply because those words were the ones that happen to come out of your mouth. I could speak a bit of German, I could speak a bit of Spanish, but it's not like I consider myself truly bilingual in either of these enough to code switch, though I have had multilingual conversations in which I've literally gone between English, Spanish, and German with a guy in Morocco before, and it was exhilarating, yes. The code switching that I mostly experience in the day-to-day is between the American and English variant of English. In the UK, I've found myself voluntarily and involuntarily switching to my version of a London accent when I need to interact with the bus driver or employees at a store, or when I'm briefly on the phone with someone from a company.
Jersey.
Hello, I'd like to cross the river, please.
Okay, you're on the Essex side.
I'm on the side that isn't Dartford.
No problem at all. We'll be with you shortly.
That isn't Dartford. See, most of that I'd class as my somewhat normal hybrid accent, but once I came up against the place name Dartford on the intercom, that's where the inner R softened somewhat naturally. Yes, I know there's an R there, and I know that I should, in the American accent, pronounce it Dartford. But when I'm on the intercom, I'm talking to someone that's hoping that they can understand me. Naturally, I'm just going to soften it a bit, especially because I've never once heard the R pronounced amongst anyone around me because it's not pronounced. The name of the place is Dartford. Even though that sounds weird in my accent, weirdly enough, it just came up out of the blue. And yeah, I got a lot of comments on that video of Chris Spargo. It's like, oh, what's he doing putting on this fake accent? Mate, I don't know. It's not, it's just me. But at least saying Dartford in that scenario actually fit and the person would understand me. Because I've defaulted into this more polite London-esque hybrid accent of mine when I'm talking to customer service, it means that also applies when I'm back home in the States. When I'm back in my hometown in New Jersey, I actually put in a lot of effort trying not to do that, trying not to speak with any sort of British accent, because I would like to signal, hey, I'm home, this is where I'm from, hey, welcome, I'm back in Deptford, New Jersey, it's me. I used to find this very easy whenever I'd visit. It would feel so comforting and I'd slip back into my normal Jersey accent. Nowadays, it's just this weird thing of going back and forth and I can't really control it, especially when it comes to talking to someone that's driving a bus, something that I'm so used to doing in the UK that I'm like, oh, excuse me, sir, is this one going to Philadelphia?
Well, I need to know where you're going. So.
Oh, sorry, mate. Philadelphia. Reading Terminal Market.
There's that soft R again. Reading Terminal Market. Oh, there's two of them. Terminal Market. Instead of, hey, is this going to Reading Terminal Market? No. Reading Terminal Market, mate. Sure, I am using the British word mate here because that's just a word I now use so naturally I didn't even think about it. And I tried, I think if you could hear it, mate is actually not too much in a British accent.
Sorry, mate.
Because I was still desperately trying to sound American. But then I'm talking to a bus driver and then immediately, I immediately just go like, oh, Reading Terminal Market. The R is softened, like it's just it. My accent goes, zoop, British mode unlocked. So despite me wanting to signal to the people around me, hey, I'm from here, I belong to this area, I pretty much did the exact opposite. The people I chatted with on the bus on my way home had literally never heard a British accent in real life before, so now their only experience with one is whatever the heck mine is. I don't blame people who left comments on my video with Lawrence from Lost in the Pond saying that I just sound like an American and not British at all, because there are a lot more aspects to an accent that they might not be aware of than simply just the way that the words are pronounced. I've heard my accent being described as a majority American accent, but with more British vocabulary and, more crucially, British intonation. Intonation. Let's listen to those questions from earlier and see if you found a common thread yet. Have you had these ones? Have you had these ones?
Excuse me, is this going towards Mantua? Do you recommend the cheese?
Have you had these ones? But in an American accent. Have you had these ones? Have you had these ones? Have you had these ones? Did you pick it up yet? So for this example, I want you to pronounce this sentence out loud. Notice where your voice rises and falls. If you're American, chances are your voice rises towards the end. Have you had these ones? Brits, on the other hand, well, a lot of them, particularly those not located in the South, might agree with you. Have you had these ones? Have you had these ones? Have you had these ones? But those with more of a Southern British accent or received pronunciation like my partner has might find themselves naturally rising before the end of this polite yes or no question. So instead of, have you had these ones? You might hear, have you had these ones? Do you recommend the cheese? Do you recommend the cheese? Hey, I'm American. Do you recommend the cheese? Do you recommend the cheese? This bus going to Mantua? Is this bus going to Mantua? Dr. Jeff Lindsay, who's a linguist who runs a very great YouTube channel you should probably watch, he actually wrote a blog entry about this phenomenon, and he provided many such examples of just how commonplace this fall rise is within Southern British accents.
Do you fancy a fry-up?
Does anybody care to fix that?
Does anybody care to fix that? Does anybody care to fix that? This sort of fall rise within yes-no questions often comes out when a speaker wants to be perceived as neutrally polite or genuinely interested in the response. Traditionally, this sort of accent marker was more apparent in RP accents like the one my partner has. And currently, I have a big theory that by living with her for so long and knowing her and chatting with her all the time, her more posh RP level accent has had a huge impact on the most subtle ways that my accent operates.
Are those lawnmowers?
Of course. Are those lawnmowers? That was when I took Heather to my local American county fair. I'll link that video above, it's pretty good. But were she American, the question wouldn't have sounded like, are those lawnmowers? And more, are those lawnmowers? Whoop. And yes, Heather, they are. They're Dixie choppers. Come on, how do you not know this? You don't know the Dixie choppers are the biggest, most expensive lawnmowers you can get. This is one of those tiny little language quirks that once you've noticed, you will hear everywhere. It's such a tiny, cute way of expressing interest in someone's response. Did you make any new friends? So American, right? Did you make any new friends? Aw, just imagine like a mum talking to the little son, and he comes in from school and he's like, oh, mummy, I had a good day at school. And she says, oh, did you make any new friends? As opposed to, did you make any new friends? And I guess a really good example of this sentence would be like, have you subscribed to my channel yet? Have you subscribed to my channel? Hey. Wait, are you new here? Oh yeah, oh, I just did it there. Oh, I didn't do that on purpose. Oh, that's... But the issue I fall into a lot recently is when I come up against words that force me to pick a side and my brain stumbles. When you speak, you want to speak as naturally as possible. You don't have to pause to consider the way that every single word sounds. That would be insane. You would never be able to say anything because it would take too long. For most of you, that's very obvious. If you've been speaking the same language since birth, this is not something you ever have to worry about. But just listen to me hit the same word within 3 seconds in completely different ways. The options immediately visible are drinks like water and flavored water. Water, 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 water. Goddamn, my brain can never really settle on a pronunciation of the word water because it's such an iconic word from where I'm from that my brain goes, oh yeah, you're supposed to say water. And then my brain goes, don't do it, water, 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 water bottle. Other than that though, these 2 words have been annoying me a lot recently, particularly the A's in each of these words. Bath and grass. Because when I say it like that, it just feels so overly American, like it sticks out like a sore thumb in my accent, like I'm putting on an American accent. Oh, you want to take a bath? Well, that was even more Jersey than I meant to do. Then again, when I say, well, that doesn't sound right, maybe I should then do the other A sound, my brain goes, all right, God, I let it in the grass. Sorry, what was that? Oh, you know, do you want to take a bath? No, now let's sound like some weird sort of posh RP accent. But that sticks out on the other end. So essentially, that specific vowel does not sit naturally anywhere in my accent. I can't say grass, or it sounds too American, and I can't say grass, or I sound too British. I just want to sound like me, which is this neutral in-between where I can't. I have to pick a side. And I don't wanna. I've also noticed I've got a lot more hard T's in my words than I used to. I used to flap on every word. I'd say, oh, that's a pretty city. You know what I mean? It's a pretty looking city. Got that T's turned to D's with a nice little flap. Americans love doing that. I love doing that. And then all of a sudden, this happens. Why would someone ever say this about Ohio? It's pretty shit. It's just roads. Yeah, Ohio's pretty shit. Pretty shit. Pretty shit. There's like a glottal stop all of a sudden. Oh, he's putting on an accent. No, you think I want to put on a glottal stop? I would like that to stop, actually, but I cannot help it. It's just my accent choosing its own adventure all of a sudden. Oh, all right, it's pretty shit, innit? Yeah, that's me. There's some sort of just quasi-glottal stop all of a sudden, and that's just how it is now. But one of the weirdest changes that I've noticed recently that's really hard to pin down is that somewhat slur that I've developed between my current accent and the one that more resembles my partner's that focuses on this specific sound found in these 3 words. The A in face, place, and space. And I'm trying really hard to make sure I say it normally so that it doesn't sound weird. But when I'm not thinking about it, right, I don't say face, space, place. It comes out in a sentence, I might say something like, oh, God, that guy just hit me in the face. What? What is that? I don't know if you can hear that. It's like the rest of the sentence is very normal, and then all of a sudden it's like, face. Oh no, it hit me in the face. What? I need more space. And obviously I'm enunciating it a bit more clearly for you to hear it, but it's one of those things that I've subtly picked up on. As I'm saying sentences, I will just start to hear like, oh, that vowel is not sounding very right now. It's that letter A that really does mess with me. So the result is when that sound comes out of a word, I actually have a huge stumble mentally as my brain starts laying out the tracks, be like, here's how the words are. And then it gets to that and it goes, you choose, man. And I don't choose. So I go like, I felt like for the longest time, I was slowly developing this sort of quasi-Londonish accent. But then for the last 5 years, my partner has thrown that completely out the window, and now I sound like I'm trying to be a BBC presenter who got fired and is still pretending like he is an American. I don't know, it sounds very strange. Another one that I've actually just noticed, I think it might have been early in this video, is the O in videos. I just did it there as well. It almost sounds like a Portuguese sound in a way. Same thing happens to the 2 in YouTuber. I now feel like I really have to emphasize that it's YouTuber because there almost feels like this part of my brain and accent that's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if you just like, just YouTubed it up, you know what I mean? Like just got a little chill. Like, oh, I'm watching some YouTube. No! Did you get all that? See what I did there, right? You can pick up on it now in everyday life, if you live in the south of England, I suppose. But actually, I did really want to film this video last week, but this is what my voice sounded like.
Hey there, so, for some reason I've developed some sort of cough. I sound like, Margie's sisters. Don't know what happened, but it is, a cough that took my voice for an entire week. I guess everyone around me is probably happy about that. Ow.
Yeah, something weird is definitely going around the UK at the moment. I've had a few friends that got this. They said they had a cough for like 3 weeks, and I was like, great. I'm on week 2 of that. Lost my voice for a few days. Wasn't nice. I really needed to stay hydrated, which I was actually really thankful. I had this bottle from today's video sponsor, Holy. To start off, I really didn't expect to like this because whenever I hear sugar-free drink, I go, oh, sure, yeah, it's gonna taste like aspartame or something. Yet, this does not taste like aspartame. In fact, it's like this sort of system where they have lots of different syrup pods you can get. You put it in the bottle, you dial in the flavor amount you want, and for me, I don't really like things too sweet, so I just go for like the second tick, and then, wow, it's actually really, really nice. It's sort of like a constantly there for you squash, and because I have the flavor set to so low, it means each syrup pod lasts me like 3 liters or so. I just kept drinking this stuff when I was sick, and it made me feel a lot better. Plus, there's so many different flavors that come with this thing, it's insane. But this is actually only the newest thing that Holy's come out with. They actually have hydration sachets, they've got energy drink sachets, and milkshake ones I'm excited to try out soon. Also, is it sachet? Is it sachet? I actually don't know, but I hear sachet and I think sachet rules move. If you want to try out any of their tasty, tasty soft drinks that you can have without feeling guilty about any sort of calories or anything, well, you can try Holy out today with code EVAN5 for a £5 discount on your first order, as long as you spend at least £14.99, or just use code EVAN for 10% off to get your own starter set deluxe, featuring all of these goodies here for only £54, only until the end of this month. So thank you very much to Holy for sponsoring this video and for keeping me hydrated. I do appreciate it. Now, let me wrap this up. Anyway, welcome to the outro. So this is a weird one, isn't it? I like to end all videos with that because they're all freaking weird now, huh? So I have a couple more videos coming out, hopefully the next few months about my accent. There's just one more I've been working on, cooking for a long time. But that one, not quite ready. I like to spend some time with them. Just like you, hopefully, like to spend time with me on my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, I'll see you back on this channel next Sunday. Goodbye. That's not a bed. I can't do that anymore. Oh. I'm wearing a full red outfit, I've just realized. I look like some sort of child.